Alright, we just saw The Grand Seduction, and the way that the show works is we review the movie in 2 parts. The first part is spoiler-free. We talk about whether we like the movie or not, and whether we would recommend it. And then in the second part, we get into more detail and potentially spoilers. So you can watch this if you're on the fence and trying to decide if you want to see the movie or not, and then if you want to go see it, you can go check it out. Otherwise, if you've already seen it or have no intention to, you can watch the full video and find out what we thought. So, The Grand Seduction is pretty much what I expected it to be. It's basically Doc Hollywood. That's the plot. They trick a doctor into coming to their town, and they're trying to set up this deal with an oil company to get a factory, and they need to have a doctor in town to get their bid to go through. So they find out everything they can about the doctor, and then they sort of tailor his experience living in their town to what they think he wants. The movie is pretty funny. There's a good message in there. I think a lot of people can sort of relate to the feeling of living in sort of a blighted community, the idea of the shame of being on welfare and wanting to, get your job back and all of that. But it's also a very lighthearted look at everything, and it actually has a really slow pace, which I think fits the tone of the movie and fits the tone of where it's taking place, but I can see where some people would want them to kind of pick it up. It seems like it's about 25 minutes longer than it needs to be, but there's a lot of kind of extended sequences, and like I said, just overall the pace is kind of slow. So it's not like, I said it's like Doc Hollywood. It's not the most original story or the most original idea ever, but they carried it out pretty well. It said at the end that it's based on another film, which I don't know if it was a French-Canadian film or
it's
a French film.
Yeah, I think it's French language, actually, yeah.
Because the movie takes place in Nova Scotia in Canada, or in Newfoundland, not Nova Scotia, in Newfoundland. So I think the pace matches with that tone. It's just not. It wouldn't be what an American audience would normally expect from a comedy like this, or even like an English audience necessarily.
Yeah, I don't think that the thing to enjoy about the movie isn't the story, because you know how the story's going to end. You know that they're going to win him over and he's going to decide to stay. Like, that's not really a spoiler, I don't think. But I think the part I enjoyed the most was the characters and their humanity. Mm-hmm. Like you said, they were very real people in a very real situation, and the way that even in the midst of that, they really cared for each other and cared what happened.
Yeah,
I thought was engaging and realistic.
Yeah. So that sounds good to you. Go check it out. Don't let us ruin any of the spoilers for the movie. Like she said, there's really, there's not that much to spoil in it, because it is a fairly straight-ahead story. But yeah, to get into more detail and kind of talk through it a little bit more, I liked the characters as well. Brendan Gleeson and the guy that Simon, I don't know what the actor's name is, but he was really funny. It's kind of a mix of like Bill Murray and I don't know, he's just kind of this funny, like, quiet comic foil kind of guy. And that was a lot of fun. The doctor character isn't the center of the story, which is kind of interesting. Brendan Gleeson's more the main character, so the doctor's in quite a bit of it, but he's also like pretty naive and pretty...
Well, because that part of the story sort of like asks you to suspend disbelief for a while. I mean, like, the fact that he would get stopped, or that he would get caught for cocaine, and what would happen is he would have to spend a month in a small town in Newfoundland or wherever is pretty unrealistic. Also, a plastic surgeon being able to do like any of the things he did is like relatively unrealistic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they I don't think they really needed him.
Right. No, I think that's kind of the point. Like
he was taking care of stuff that was like first aid kind of stuff, and
yeah,
writing prescriptions and that sort of thing. But they didn't, they didn't have like a fire or something that he had to take care of a bunch of people or something like that. But yeah, I just felt like it was. It felt more like watching like a half a season of television. Almost like watching like Father Ted or something like that. Just the way the characters were and just how sort of meandering the story is.
Yeah.
Because it's not like if you want to break it down like as far, I mean, it does have like a 3-act structure that you expect from a movie, but the first act is like 45 minutes. It's super, like, it takes forever for the doctor to show up.
Yeah. But it sort of, I felt like it was slow, but it sort of fit the way it seemed like life went in their community. Like, I think it matched.
That's what I was saying. Like, it worked for where they set the film and how it made it feel like you were in that slow paced or slower kind of speed. And most of the cast is, like, senior citizens. Like, it's a mainly elderly community.
Yeah.
Like the younger people in it are like middle-aged people.
Yeah, there's that one woman with like the 6 kids. Yeah.
Yeah, and the one like post mistress.
Right. The pseudo love interest.
Who's the pseudo love interest, which that doesn't go anywhere in the movie, but it's sort of a funny recurring gag.
Yeah.
They keep telling him that she's interested and she's not, and he's like not really interested either because he has his girlfriend until he doesn't.
Right. So. But it did make sense that she was the one that like revealed it all. Like she's the only person that sort of like at that point wasn't very invested in him and would just be like, no, here is really what's going on. Like
it's not fair to be like that to you kind of thing. But I'm not sorry I saw it, and I think it was more fun to see it in the theater. It was actually a lot of fun to see it at this theater because this theater tends to be a fairly old crowd, so I felt like I was kind of in the target audience for this movie. I feel like this is really a movie for older people. In general, I think it just kind of skews that direction.
So if you want to feel young, go to the Glenwood Arts Theater.
Okay, I wasn't going to say that, but all right, whatever. It was a decent movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. So that's The Grand Seduction. Hope you enjoyed this. If you do, like us, like the video, subscribe. Check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com. Thanks.
Bye.